space. What was here now is gone, and all you choose to make of these words will take its place.
Hey everyone, I know I haven't made a video in a couple months, and I just wanted to apologize. My life has been really crazy lately, and I don't really care to expound on that too much right now. But I've been hit pretty hard, and I still feel like I'm getting pounded to the ground right now. But I'm choosing to carry on and keep a positive attitude, positive outlook. In this video, I just wanted to go into how I feel about, I guess, my observations about bipolar and the people that I come into contact with that have bipolar disorder. So what I've noticed is I haven't found any other mental disorder that has brought people together so closely more than bipolar has. I don't know how many of you know this, but there's a national group in the United States called the Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance, with chapter groups located all over the country in many different states, and there's different chapters in different states. And what those are is actual meetings with no doctors, no professionals, just people who are going voluntarily to these meetings and meeting up and discussing bipolar and their lives, and venting and just coming together. And it's just crazy how something such as bipolar can unite people like that. And it's really crazy when you talk to other people that have bipolar, or you even listen and you hear them talk about their lives, and you realize how much you have in common. It's crazy. I mean, normal people, they get together and they talk about things that they have in common, but when people that have bipolar come together, there's so many more things that they can talk about that they have in common: experiences, feelings, emotions, reactions to things, and how they handle things, and how they it's just incredible. And that's kind of in line with what I've been learning lately with spirituality. I've been digging really deep into spirituality, finding the truth, finding answers for all the questions that I have. One of the things that I've discovered that's very common among people that have bipolar is I guess you could say, higher intellect that seems to be higher than average in people that have bipolar. And what I mean by that is, like, when I go into my manic stage, my mind starts pouring out ideas, and they go so fast sometimes that I can't even keep up with them. And I feel like I have this absolute clear understanding of life and the meaning of life and what's going on. It's really crazy. It floods in, and I can't stop it. And I'll be talking to, like, my wife, and I'll be saying things, and I can't voice or put into words, quantify rather, my thoughts and express them to the world fast enough. I'll be in the middle of a sentence, and I'll have to stop my sentence mid-stride because I'm onto a new thought or a new idea, or just going in a completely different direction. And that's how quick it is. It can happen in the middle of a sentence over and over and over again. And it's just like bam, 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 bam. And I've learned a lot about, like, the Jews, the false Jews. The Jews are the chosen children of God. It talks about them in the Bible, and it talks about all the suffering they'll have to go throughout their lives. And it's just really crazy when you look at some of the, I guess, common traits in people that have bipolar. That a lot of them have times in their life where they have, like, a God complex, where they feel that they're really close to God, and they feel like they're extremely powerful, and that like a lot of the people that have bipolar that I've talked to, they want to change the world. They want to do something huge, something important. And even, like, well, right now I can't even. My mind is going so fast because I'm in a manic phase right now and being hit with a lot of things that are triggering depression for me. So, I have, I guess what they say, bipolar 2, which is mixed episodes where you're manic and depressed at the same time. So that causes a lot of anxiety, a lot of really elevated emotions, and anger, and it's really hard to focus sometimes. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is it's just really crazy when I'm starting to learn about how I'm learning that we're a collective conscious. I'm not saying that I know everything or that everything that I read or talk about is fact, but I like to take everything in and draw my own conclusions. I try not to allow other people to make my decisions for me. So what I'm saying here, I mean, this is all speculative. This is based on my experience and what I've learned so far in my life, but it seems to me that there's a very good possibility that people that have bipolar are the chosen children of God. And when I'm learning about collective consciousness, how we're all connected, everything is just one big massive energy, and we're all made of the same basic substance, atoms, and they're mostly hollow, and about how the way light reflects, and that's what creates colors and that kind of stuff. And our mass is held together by frequencies of sound. And this is all, scientific fact. Science verifies this, and there's nothing that I found in the Bible that goes against this. So, I mean, you look at someone that has bipolar, and you see how their emotions are just amplified. And what I'm learning is, like, emotions are our response to our senses that we have lost touch with, or we don't have complete access to, and that's the collective consciousness, at the base of our minds, and that's what connects us all. So when you think about emotions being a response to the outside world, I guess you would say, I mean, people that have bipolar have elevated emotions. Everything is enhanced. And I mean, a lot of the time, people that have bipolar, they're depressed most of the time, and they're manic just a little bit of the time. And when you think about or learn about what's really going on in this world, all the corruption, the evil, the fear-mongering, the brainwashing, indoctrination, all the evil, hateful, horrid things that are going on in this world. I mean, if what I'm saying is true, and people that have bipolar are more connected, I mean, that would explain a lot about why life could seemingly be going well for someone that has bipolar, but then they just have a complete breakdown out of nowhere. I mean, we are all influenced by outside influences. We all experience that. Normal people, bipolar people, so on and so forth. And just when you really get down to it, like a lot of people that I talk to that have bipolar, they're extremely spiritual. They're always seeking the truth and questioning, and they're called rebels, and they go against the flow. And when you think about the flow, being society, flocking together like a herd of sheep, and just being spoon-fed everything, and you have these people that are completely going against the flow, completely questioning everything and wondering what the true meaning of existence is, and the intricacies of how things work, and their elevated intelligence and their awareness. It's like I started to think about how normal people, are missing out. I don't think that they know what life really is or what it's about. They've never experienced it. And I think the people that have bipolar are experiencing life to almost the fullest. They're experiencing all the emotion, and they get to a certain point in their life, and no matter where they're at, they're not going to be content. They always want to do the next best thing, and they want to just step it up, step it up, step it up, step it up. You're never content. And I mean, to me, that seems like that should be the normal way to live. But I mean, then again, I have bipolar, so I mean, to me, that is normal. But I ask myself, why these people can just go to work every day and just be content, watch the news, go to work, get a paycheck, and come home, and that's it, and go to church on Sundays and be Christians one day a week. I've shed all religion. My wife and we've shed religion, and well, I know I have completely. I'm not sure about her, but she tends to go with me. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I found that I've never been closer to my Creator than when I shed religion. I stopped following the cults, and I decided to just build a one-on-one relationship with God with no rules. I mean, these things I'm learning about our spirituality and frequencies and that kind of stuff. They say that there's only two emotions that humans ever experience, and that's love and fear. And every other emotion branches off of those, either directly or indirectly. And there's 64 chromosomes in the human body, made up of the different, like hydrogen, carbon, whatever, 64 amino acids, but only 20 of them are unlocked in our DNA. And what I'm learning is that fear, where supposedly the Illuminati want us to be, is a low level frequency. And when it intersects with our DNA or our genes, it only comes into contact with a limited amount of our chromosomes. However, love is a higher frequency, and that's a wave like this. And that the higher frequencies create more complex structures, and it intersects at more points with our genes and our DNA, therefore turning us into more complex beings. And when I think about people that have bipolar and the struggles they have and the emotions and the higher intelligence, it just begs the question, how connect, that's got to be, to me, a direct connection. And it just makes you wonder, why me? Why was I born this way? Why do I have bipolar? I mean, when you look at the DSM, that's the Diagnostical Statistical Manual for Mental Health. That's what all the psychiatrists use to diagnose your mental illnesses and disorders. Well, that manual is full of symptoms, and they diagnose you based on the symptoms. So if you have this symptom and that symptom and that symptom, then you have this disorder. There's no, as far as I know at this point in time, there's no tests, or you can't just give them a sample of your blood or your DNA, and they can't say, oh, this person has bipolar or this person doesn't have bipolar. They can't scan your brain, although I have seen some things in some books and online that have claims that they can scan your brain, and that the brain of someone that has bipolar has more those connections, more than a normal brain. So I mean, that might be something there. I haven't looked too much further into it, but there's no hardcore tests that you can take other than a questionnaire about being depressed and blah blah blah, and going and seeing a shrink, and they make the diagnosis. If you have cancer, they can find the cancer cells, they can isolate them, and they can eliminate it from your body. But something like bipolar is like the core of your being. I can't even imagine living without having bipolar. I can't imagine. I don't feel like I would be alive. I don't feel like I'd be myself. And I've felt that way when I've taken medications in the past. I've felt stifled or numbed, and I felt like a zombie. My creativity was gone. Yes, my depression and my mania was gone, but I was just numb. I had a lot of I had a lot more anxiety on some of the medications, but yeah, bipolar is the core of who I am. I would not be who I am if I didn't have bipolar. I wouldn't have had the same experiences in life if I didn't have bipolar. And as a result of my bipolar and having compulsive, impulsive behaviors, I feel like I've experienced a lot more in a shorter amount of time in life than the average person. Because most people, that are normal, they go and they don't have too many problems through school. They don't question the garbage that is being spoon fed to them in school. They don't, they just regurgitate everything they've learned on tests. And I've taken tests before, and I've proven the tests wrong. And I just feel like people that are normal are not alive. I know that is, people might think I'm crazy for saying that, but I feel like I am special. I was chosen by God, by the Creator, to have bipolar. I feel like I'm a chosen one, and I have a greater purpose on this earth. And a lot of you might be saying, "Oh, he's having mania right now, so he has his God complex or whatever." But the thing is I'm completely aware. Even if I have my mania or my depression or whatever state I'm in, I'm completely aware. It's not like I'm high on some sort of drug that alters my thinking. I'm not I'm not asleep. I feel more aware, more awake, and I can do a lot more work in a shorter period of time than when I'm depressed or when I'm normal. Everything is elevated. My senses, my thinking, my abilities, everything is heightened. And that's what mania is. And it's really hard for people that don't have bipolar to understand that. They think you're crazy. They think, oh, he has all these grandiose ideas. He's blah, blah, blah. Well, if you look back on history, it's some of the greatest minds in history. And look at the behavior of those people, you'll see that a lot of them shared the same traits as people that had bipolar. And I'm sure back then, a lot of people thought they were crazy. Einstein, who knows if he had bipolar, but the crazy thing is he was really smart as a scientist. Extremely brilliant. I can't think of a more renowned scientist than Einstein. And yet he had a firm belief in God, relationship with God, and anyone who questioned him about that, he was very confident in his relationship with God. And he said that all of his answers, all of his knowledge came from God. And that I was talking not too long ago about early in the video about how we're just one big mass of energy, and we're experiencing our own existence in this energy, this massive energy. And although we are just a big ball of mass held together with sound frequencies, there is an underlying conscious there, and that's what's known as the spirit. And you can't deny that. Science cannot explain that. They can explain everything else. They can explain how everything else works, but they can't explain the spirit. They can't explain emotion. It's like, it's just crazy. I lost my train of thought. That's just how it goes. But I guess what I'm ultimately saying is, I'm happy that I have bipolar. I feel that there's great potential in me because I have my bipolar. There's lots of advantages to it. I'm learning more and more how to harness it and take advantage of that. And if you're trying to defeat or harness bipolar on your own, you're making a huge mistake. You need to have a support system around you, friends, family, and you need to identify what your triggers are, what you look like and feel like at certain stages of mania and depression, and your friends and family can intervene and help taper some of that off so that you don't crash hard, or you don't go up and fly high as a kite out of control doing reckless behaviors. If you can learn to harness that power and that potential, I mean, a lot of the richest CEOs in this world have ADHD, bipolar. A lot of actors have bipolar. Um, in fact, I'll do a little montage at the end of this video that have a bunch of different famous people that have bipolar so that you can get an idea of the true potential that bipolar brings you. And you are special. God made you this way for a reason. And He may have chosen you, to suffer all these hardships. But think, if you didn't suffer these hardships, you didn't go through these hard times in your life, you wouldn't be who you were. And me personally, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Watch this space. What was here now is gone, and all you choose to make of these words will take its place. Watch this space.